Okay, welcome to part 2 of our series here. Right now we're going to talk about these tools to the left here and what each one of them do. I'm not going to go into explicit detail on some of these tools, mostly for the reason is that for you beginners out there, some of these tools are slightly advanced and you'll need some time to kind of adjust to more of the basic tools. If you have questions though regarding certain tools, make sure you always ask, email, or post a question, and I'm always able to answer. But first here, we're going to talk about our Create panel. So this is our Create panel right here. You'll notice it because it kind of has like a star sort of drawing to it, maybe symbolizing the creationistic values. Anyway, who knows? Or the birth of a star, I guess. Whatever. Anyway, geometry. Geometry is the most basic. So this is where you're going to find all your standard primitives, extended primitives, compound objects, and all the rest of these. And we'll go over these in later classes where you guys will actually learn what each one of these are. So in the standard primitive, you have things like boxes, spheres, cylinders, torus, teapot, plane, pyramid, tube, geosphere, and cone. So I'm going to take one of these and I'm going to show you how they work. So when you grab your box, what you can do is you can drag out your box to create the bottom portion. Then you release your mouse as such and you just drag the mouse upward. And hence, afterwards, you have a box. Ta-da! Now, after you've created your box, you would have some settings here, but I accidentally clicked, my bad. But we'll go to the Modify list right here. Right in this tab, it says Modify. It's got this little quarter of a rainbow. And once you have gotten into here, you notice that there's a length, and the length will allow you to make it more or less, depending on what you want, width and height. Now, the length segments and width segments and height segments are different. The heights and length, or the segments, are basically the vertexes in between each of these points here, because a box is created by 8 points. So what you do if you want to create a box with more points, what you would do is add more points. Now, can't see it here, but it's here, and you're going to change to edged faces by clicking here and going to edge faces. We'll talk about this more in another tutorial. So now you notice that there's a line here, and each point will add a line, and you can go up to several hundred points. Be very careful though how many you add, because the more you add, the harder it is to model in 3D environment. So here is where my term comes out as less is more. Always remember that. So now that we have this, what we can do is we can right click on box and convert to editable poly, or we can right click on the screen and convert to editable poly as well too. And then we have all of this more to go through. There are hundreds of different options here, and the options I'm going to have you guys focus more on is just some of the extrude, let's see here, bevel, chamfer, things like that. But first, before we can access any of those, we have to activate it to vertex mode. So now in vertex mode, we can see some more objects, but we can't extrude using vertex. I wouldn't suggest it. It's not advisable. But in vertex mode, some of the easy things you can do is you can do things like quick slice. And what quick slice allows you to do is it allows you to create more vertices just by clicking. So I select quick slice from here, and then I just created an additional point. Now, there's also another way to select quick slice is by right-clicking and scrolling to quick slice. And there it is. Gotta try to get it straight. It's not gonna. There we go. Okay. So there you go. Now I have added 2 additional points here. There's also more that you can do here. Let's see here. So I'm going to show you guys target weld. So like, let's say we take this point here and we hit the backspace. Now backspace, what it does is it removes the point. But if we want to delete those polygons, we hit delete. Now those polygons are deleted. Now let's say I want to return them because, oh, I know I screwed up. What happens? Well, what you can do is you can select edge mode here. This is edge mode right here. And what edge mode allows you to do, I'm going to maximize this now. And what edge mode allows you to do is, let's see here, where's it at? Oh, I'm already on it. Allows you to select just the edges, just like that. And if I hold Control, you see the little plus sign next to my pointer. I can add more edges. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to, holding the Shift key with my hand and using the left mouse button, I can drag down new points. Just like that. And when I'm ready, I deselect my mouse button and I add more. And this is where the target weld tool comes in. And if you're wondering how I'm rotating like this, I'm holding the Alt key and the middle mouse button. So now I'm going to switch back to vertex mode, which is number 1, if you remember. I'm going to go target weld, and I'm going to select that edge, and I'm going to select target weld again. You don't have to keep targeting. I just want to make sure you guys understand. Once you have target weld selected, you can just keep going to the next one and target welding just like I just did right there. And got to do the same here. Always make sure you target weld everything. You need it's good to have a closed object. Now, ta-da, it's back. Alright. Let's see here. The next thing on our list of items to cover is polygons. So let's go to polygon mode, which is number 4. And if you can't forget, you can scroll all the way back at the top here. This is polygon mode, but I'm just going to click number 4. And let's say I want to extrude one of these faces here. So these are faces. All these are faces, but I want to extrude this face. So I'm going to go to my Edit Polygons tool right here, and I'm going to select Extrude. Now what happens is Extrude allows you to extrude the face. Just like that. And hit OK when we're done. And Bevel allows us to extrude again, but now I can bevel the face in slightly by using the outline. Just like that. And hit OK. Now there's another tool that is my personal favorite. It's called Inset. Notice I'm using the settings key at all times. I don't just go in and click the inset and just go, I think that's it, I think that's it. No, don't do it that way. I always use the settings tools. You can use it if you want to or if you don't. But I usually use this when kind of trying to create a sort of barrier. You know, objects aren't flat when they're extruded. And this time I'm going to extrude it inward. And I can extrude it inward by now going negative. And there's my extrude negative. And it actually looks pretty decent right there. Okay? So that is how you do that. Let's see here. Next on our list after on the create panel is we have shapes. And shapes you can create lines and text, and there's going to be an actual lab that you guys use those for. After that comes the lights, and there's photometric and there's standard. Standard are pretty standard. You don't really You use them for like light bulbs and to light certain areas. Photometric you're going to use to light your entire scene. We'll talk about that in a later tutorial. Cameras allow you to place target or free cameras. There's really nothing much to them. They have different lenses, 15, 20, 30, 24, 28, 35, 50, 85, 135, and 200. They're just dependent on what it is that you're trying to achieve with your camera angles. The rest of these is just focal depth, so that way that you can focus on one object and everything else behind that object blurs out. That makes sense? Hopefully it does. Not going to worry about helpers, space warps, or systems. If you have questions about those, please post and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Anyway, other than that, we're going to close out this portion of our tutorial. If you guys have questions, you can post them to MrOclass.com, or pardon me, .wordpress.com, and hopefully this has been helpful. Thank you.